so weird, like I've never done this before. I don't even know how to start it. It's like telling a story and I'm talking to a camera, like as if I'm talking to somebody, but I'm not actually talking to somebody, I'm just talking to myself. I don't know if this video will ever even go anywhere, if I'll even put it anywhere. I have no idea. I'm just completely winging it. So whatever comes into my head, I'm just going to say it. I went into crisis on the 5th of February this year, which is when obviously prior to that, a few weeks leading up to it, I was unwell, really unwell. I have OCD and I suffer with intrusive thoughts. I didn't even know what they were. Basically like a dream, but it's a daydream and it happens while you're awake. One of my my workers, they explained it like that. They explained that it was an awoken dream. So you just vision something of, I don't know, I said to you, don't think about a pink elephant. You're gonna think about a pink elephant, and it's the same with intrusive thoughts, especially ones that are unwanted. And the unwanted ones, I've been trying to push them away, and I was trying to push mine away, and doing it until I got myself into a state of panic, and I got into a state of crisis. First, it all started around the middle of November, the end of November, and I got in touch with a mental health team and they discharged my application because they said that there wasn't anything to worry about basically, and just referred me to some people and told me about my PTSD from my childhood. And then I went into crisis on the 5th of January. The crisis team, they have home workers, so like people that work they have a home treatment team, and I have a home treatment team, and I see them every 4 days now, when I was seeing them every day before, or like every 2 days. I went into a state of crisis and my mum had to phone an ambulance because I wanted to jump off the cliffs near her house, and I had suicidal ideation. So it's sort of like I had it in my head that was what I was going to do to make these thoughts stop, and that was my last option. That was my last, well, if it doesn't go by this certain amount of time, then that's it, then that's my only way out, really. That sort of is how much it was, or how much it has impacted me. It's been really difficult and it's been hard to talk about. I've been wanting to make a video about it to make people more aware about intrusive thoughts and people with OCD with intrusive thoughts. I bought numerous books to help me to try and understand what it means, and that has helped me a lot. But I think as a personal story and a personal experience, it's good to hear what somebody else has been through, as well as like yourself as well, so it's not just you, or you don't feel like you're the only person that's suffering from it, because you're not. It's so common. Like I was walking through the supermarket and I was like, oh, they're staring at me. These people, they're all staring at me. Like, well, why are they looking at me? They're all looking at me, and I thought everybody was staring at me. I thought everybody hated me. I went through a stage where I thought my own foul. I thought, what if I lose my family? What if my family don't speak to me ever again? And it was just awful. I got into a proper state of depression and made myself really, really, really unwell. I didn't make myself, I didn't mean to. It's my subconscious mind that obviously overrid my conscious mind, and the two of them are battling together constantly, day in, day out, from the turning around the middle of November until now, basically. And it was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, reminders of things and flashbacks of stuff from when I was younger, and it has not been great. It's hard to speak out about it now while it's still quite fresh, but I feel like if I speak about this part of it now, then I know I'm doing something, and I'm just literally just completely winging it, and I want to help other people see that there is a such thing as intrusive thoughts, and they aren't real, they don't belong to you, and it's okay to have them. The only problem is if you have OCD, which is me. Obviously I have obsessive compulsive disorder, so my mind would ruminate over these thoughts all day, every day, constantly, and made me think that I'm this bad, horrible person, and people are staring at me because I'm a weirdo, or it's not a nice feeling at all. And I can go to the shop and I know the people aren't staring at me, and I know they're not thinking I'm a weirdo, and I know that I've got friends and I've got loads of family that love me, and all my friends love me, and all my friends have been so supportive as well. Can't express enough how supportive my friends and family have been. Like, it's amazing. If it wasn't for them, and it wasn't for my mum that day calling those people, then I wouldn't be here right now. I was taken to Longreach, which is the mental hospital, for an assessment for 4 hours because they needed to assess what needs I wanted to have, and we agreed there that I wasn't going to stay in the hospital because I'd be better off at home with my family. So I was getting the care that I would have had if I was in hospital, but at home instead. So I was seeing them in my own home, so I had the comfort of my own home and around my family as well. And I mean, my nan's been brilliant. She stayed with me too. She helped me a lot. It's making me feel a bit like emotional talking about all of it now, because it's been a massive part of my life for the last, I feel like it's just consumed my whole existence, my whole being, my whole of who I am, what I am. And I've started to question myself, like, who am I, like, who is Mia, who am I? And but I wouldn't have found it. I don't think anybody really finds themselves truly for a long time. I say I'm 22, I don't even know who I am yet, but not everybody does, and I think there's so much pressure as well. Like, I had to delete my Facebook because I was seeing other people were really happy, and I'm not a jealous, bitter person or anything like that, but I just thought, why can't I be that happy? Why can't I be like them? Why can't I have that perfect family? Why can't I be like that? And I think this is where I really suffered, because I thought that it was just like me and I was all on my own with everything, but I wasn't necessarily actually on my own with everything. I had to stop that recording because my sister was talking downstairs and my nephew was making loads of noise. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, like, if anybody needs any more like understanding about this or wants me to help them in any way, like, I'm more than happy to. I'm not the only person this has happened to, and how it has happened and how quickly it happens. My mental health went from literally here to here in a matter of like days, and it still was up until about a week ago. So when I was in crisis, they decided that from the 5th of January I was to take diazepam every day and Zopiclone. So obviously Zopiclone helps you sleep because I couldn't sleep, and the diazepams obviously was to just make me not out of it, but to make me not in touch with reality as such, because I was so distressed and anxious, and it was horrible, really horrible, so hard to talk about even now, because it's still, like I've said like a million times, they're still so fresh, and I didn't think I'd be able to sit here and make a video, and I don't know if I'm ever even going to post it, or if I'm just going to have it for myself, or what I'm going to do with it, I don't know. But I do want to raise awareness about intrusive thoughts and unwanted thoughts based around like with OCD and PTSD as well, because the OCD is a bully, and it's not nice, it's horrible. Those thoughts, they do not belong to you. Your family don't hate you. Those people in the supermarket looking at the carrots aren't looking at you, they're looking at their carrots, or they're picking up their watermelons. They're not staring at you, and they don't think that you're a weirdo, or they don't think that, like, what even is a weirdo? Like, what do you even class as a weirdo? I don't know. But yeah, it's that paranoia of all of it, that OCD, it bullies you, it makes you think that all these crazy things, and you forget who you are. It kind of like, it's a massive part, it takes over your whole brain, and there's a part of your brain, a lady told me, I can't remember what it's called, and it's like a part that's just going like that, like flashing, and my normal conscious mind couldn't balance with that, and it was just all so big, and it just consumed my whole life, and it consumed my whole life for weeks, and it still is consuming my life, and I don't know how I'm even talking about it now. This is all part of it, and it's all part of helping me, and because it's going to help me knowing that I'm helping other people if they have the same thing, if they think they have this OCD with the obsessive compulsive things. I touch wood every night. I have to touch the wood with the pads on my fingers 3 times, my knuckles 3 times, and the spit here 3 times. Are they your knuckles? Are they? I don't know. And then my palm on my hand 3 times, and the back of my hand 3 times. And that's a little ritual that I do. I keep stopping and starting again, sorry. So yeah, as I was saying before, I was prescribed Zopiclone and diazepam to help me sleep, and to obviously chill my mind, give my mind like time to relax, because I'd been so hypervigilant, and so like my brain was so, I don't even know, so tired of these constant thoughts all the time of telling me, like, it's like I had a part of me that dared me to do things, like it dared me to jump off the cliff. Like, I didn't have control over what was going on in my mind. I had no control of what I would normally do. I didn't have any normal awareness of anything other than the nonsense and the bullshit that was in my head, basically. Like, it was just bullshit. It still is bullshit. But again, emphasising the fact that obviously I've been so grateful and supportive for my family and my friends. They all know who they are, and I couldn't wish for, honestly, they've been amazing. If it wasn't for any of them, then I don't know that I would be sat here right now, as I said previously. And for the home treatment team too, they've changed my life around. They've made me see things differently to how I saw things before. They made me realise that my obsessive compulsive disorder is basically what's caused me to do these irrational things, like running away to Holland in the middle of a global pandemic, or say before, what else have I done? I've done just stupid careless things, and that's put my life at danger. I've risked my own life to potentially be in a harmful situation, or I've always acted quite irrationally and never really thought about things before I did them. But that's all part of irrational thinking. It's all part of OCD, and there's different types of OCD. So I'm not there's a type of people that are clean, that they have to have everything clean, and there's that saying, well, oh, I'm so OCD if they make their bed a certain way or something, or it's not like that. There's different types, and obviously OCD with thoughts is what I have, and with the flashbacks of the PTSD as well from my childhood trauma, it's all linked together. So my OCD and my PTSD are like literally preying on my biggest fears of being left alone and abandoned, and like being abandoned, being left by myself, and then I started like just not thinking rationally at all. It was just completely not me. And the thoughts I are having were just, they've stopped now. Now I've been taking different medications, so now I take olanzapine and clomipramine. I'm still taking the diazepam and the zopiclone, but yeah, I'm on olanzapine, which is an antipsychotic. I'm on 20 milligrams of that a day, which is the highest dosage that there is, even for people with schizophrenia. So that's helping me a lot. Obviously it would be. It's helping me sit here and talk about all of this now, and helping me talk in general. So before I would have both my earphones in to drown my thoughts out completely, so that nobody could hear me, or like I couldn't hear them, and like I just sat on my mum's sofa, just curled up in a ball with both my earphones in, and just completely was just detached from society. And you wouldn't have thought that for 4 or 5 weeks ago that's where I was, and that's what was happening to me. And it can happen to anybody, literally anybody. I've always thought, like, I've had depression stuff in the past and I've been a bit depressed, but I didn't think that anything like this would ever happen to me. And then I started questioning, why me? Why is this happening to me, and why is it happening to me now? What have I done to deserve these thoughts I'm having, or what have I done to feel this way about myself and to feel so like little of myself? I don't have respect for myself enough, or have enough about me to have I don't know, it's like a self-esteem thing, I guess. You don't see your own worth, and you don't see your own, how you are, or I always worried about what other people think of me, like, oh, I have to have this or I have to have that so I look like them and I can be like that. And I've lived my whole life like that, trying to be a people pleaser and trying to make people see, like, look at me, like, especially social media. Social media is massive. It's because obviously you compare yourself with other people, and then when you're with all this that's been going on with myself, like my self-doubt, and I question my own being, and I question everything about myself, and then I'm like, well, who am I? And it goes back to, again, that who am I, and then you're in a vicious circle all over again, and you can't find the answers because there is none there, because it is all in your mind. And I can sit there and say this to you now on the camera, but later on I can get in another episode of where I'm in sheer panic again for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's all still very fresh and still very new. But I just wanted to get some sort of something out there for now, until I can speak a bit more about it. I am going to post this video. I am going to put it out there because I want people to know that A, I can support them, and B, intrusive thoughts, that's the main thing. Intrusive thoughts, nobody's ever told me. I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't even know what it was. I knew I had OCD, but the intrusive thoughts are a massive part that comes with the OCD with thoughts. That, yeah, they are just unwanted thoughts that you don't want, and you can't, when you've got OCD, you can't just, we all have intrusive thoughts of, like, I don't know, when we were younger, fancying our teacher, and then it would like disappear when we were younger. But if intrusive thoughts with OCD, they get stuck. So they don't just pass like other thoughts, they get stuck. And then all your biggest fears come along and in with it and make it stick in your head even more. It's like that pink elephant thing again. If you tell yourself not to, don't think of a pink elephant, you're gonna think of a pink elephant if you've got a good imagination, like me anyway. It might just be me that would do that, but it's just around, and it's just a round circle. I want people to know that it is so common. I thought that it was intrusive thoughts and this stuff that happened to me was just so rare, but it wasn't, and I was so worried when I first sought help. But I knew I needed help, and I knew that I needed to get better because I wasn't myself. And my family, it wasn't nice to see my family as upset as they were, and they just wanted me to get better, really. And now I am getting better. I'm on the mend now. That's why I can do these things now. I can smile now, I can be happy, and I wouldn't have thought 2 weeks ago even that I would be sat here filming this. I'd been meaning to do it for a couple of weeks, and I was going to start it from the very beginning of when this first all started happening, but I couldn't bring myself to do it at that moment in time. I wasn't well enough. I'm still not great now, but I'm in a position where I can talk openly about it now, and I can talk to anybody about it. So if anybody has ever had any other experiences, like, please comment on this video, and if you like the video and subscribe to my channel. But yeah, so if you ever have any like questions or anything like that, then just pop them in the comment section below and I'll reply to everybody's comments. And basically this is just to get some sort of awareness out there for people that suffer with OCD and intrusive thoughts. But sharing my personal experiences can hopefully help other people too, and I think that's all this is aiming to do, is to help other people. I want other people to see how dangerous your mind can be and where your mind can take you, and when you say things and you say it and then they're out there. Like this video now, I'm talking about this now, and this is going to be out there, and I'm posting it, and it's going to be out there forever. Anyone can see it, anyone can watch it, but that doesn't bother me, because I just would rather help other people. I think because of lockdown, from the first lockdown, a lot of people became unwell, because it was like, I used to work, and I had 2 jobs, and then I lost them both at the start of lockdown. And first of all, I loved it, because I was like, this is great. Like the first 3 or 4 weeks, it was good because I could have a break. But then it got to like the 5th and the 6th week, and I started feeling a bit down and a bit grumpy and a bit moody. And then I had an intrusive thought. I had a thought that I was slicing my wrists open and I was bleeding out in a bath, and my mind was making me think that I was depressed because I was having suicidal ideation, but it wasn't at that point. That wasn't suicidal ideation, that was my intrusive thought. It was just in my head, and I could almost like saw it like a vision. It's crazy how it happens, and like that's just the nature of one of my intrusive thoughts. And then I obviously get flashbacks of when I was younger, when I was a child and growing up, when my childhood wasn't great. There's been worse, and there's been worse people that have had worse things happening to them, and I try and think that sometimes, but it's hard when it's yourself and you speak about your own traumas. I'm not going to go into too much detail about my childhood, because I don't really need to. It's there, it's the past, it's happened, it's gone. It's nobody's fault. Nobody's done anything wrong. It's just, this is how I am now, and it kind of is a product of the environment I've grown up in and how I've been. But I was always going to suffer with OCD probably anyway, because my mum and my dad both have OCD, and my brother has OCD. So does my twin sister. Quite common in our family to have mental health problems. So I'm kind of blessed anyway. But I've always had obsessive tendencies. Like before, I've always like thought about one thing. Like I had an STI test one time, and I did it, and I was obsessing over it for like 4 days. Like, oh my god, is it gonna come back like negative? Or is it gonna say I've had this? And I was obsessing over it like really badly, and it was negative in the end anyway. But it was just, I was fixated over things like that, and I realised that throughout my life, maybe even some people in my life have just been fixations, have just been obsessions for me. They've just been people that I don't regret any of the people I've come across in my life. I don't regret meeting any of them, and they've all served good parts in my life and have made me happy, and just different people. I'm not going to start naming all the people and who does what and who says what, but I just want those people to know that I did love them, and I'm sorry sometimes. I apologise for if I've ever mistreated anybody badly or due to my own problems, because it's selfish. Do you know what I mean? So I mean selfish as in like I'm like just thinking about myself, because it's hard for me to accept that I had these like not problems, but it's hard to accept that I had these things anyway, like these intrusive thoughts and stuff. It was hard to accept that I had, this is previously before this event at the moment, but yeah, it was just hard to understand that, yeah, I have done things wrong, and it's okay we all do make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes, but it's how you grow from it. And I think now I have really grown, and all the people that have come into my life have all helped me for different reasons, and I thank every single one of them, because, well, you've all made me who I am, and for good ways and the bad ways too, but either way you still played a part in who I am today and how I am and how I can use my knowledge and how I can use my experience to help other people. It does pass and it will go away. I'm still stuck in it now at the moment, but I know I'm going to come out of it, and I know I will be okay eventually, and I feel better and better each day that I wake up. I feel a little bit better. I mean, most of the time I feel like I'm just on an even keel. I'm just like that, but I think that's just the medication, because I've got so many different medications in my body, and it's just too many, loads of things that come like going on at once. Explained about the Zopiclone, the diazepam, and yeah, the olanzapine. So I'm on 20 milligrams of olanzapine, and the clomipramine I'm on 200 milligrams, which I just started last night. I had to build that up from 25 or 50, I think, over the space of like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I can't even remember, it's probably 4 weeks, but because I can't remember, it's the last few weeks have just been a blur. So the olanzapine and the clomipramine are 2 tablets that are going to be, they're the treatments. They're treating my obsessive compulsive disorder and my PTSD, whereas the other 2 are they're classed as acute medications. So the diazepam and the Zopiclone, that I'm eventually going to be coming off of those, because they're highly addictive, and nobody wants to be addicted to prescription drugs, especially me. So I'm gradually taking mine down at the moment anyway. I don't feel like I need the diazepam as such anymore. It's not even really doing anything anyway. It's because it's the same dosage, and it's not even. At first it was doing something, and I thought, oh, this is a nice feeling. The first couple of times, and then I just got used to it, and it wasn't really working for me anyway. That's the medication side of things, and there is treatment out there for that, and it's not just the medication, because I don't always believe in a medication. I think the talking therapies are good, and I'm lucky to have my own CPN who helps me, and she's going to get me with the right people that can help me talk about my childhood trauma, and to help me with my intrusive thoughts, and to help me with everything in general, and they're all brilliant. And the mental health services in Cornwall I've always thought were not that great, and especially to begin with when they discharged my application. But when I actually think about it, and I think back and I think of now the home treatment team that I've been working with, they've been amazing, amazing. Every single person I've met from the team have been great, and I've loved them all, and I don't ever want them to go. I want them to stay with me forever. And obviously the less contact I'm having with them now, I kind of weaned off them slowly, because I've seen them every day, and now I'm to every 4 days. So I saw them yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I saw them yesterday. So I'll now see them on Tuesday, and then Saturday, and then the Tuesday again after that. And yeah, so it's good to still keep in contact with them, and they're still obviously making sure that they're doing my safety plan, etc. And they're obviously relapsing, because this might happen again, and if it happens again, and it's on my records, and I know how to deal with it. And I just want to finish off this video basically by saying that you can just message me on anything via Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whenever you want anything to talk about. If you want to talk about the same experiences as mine, or if you've got depression, or you've got anxiety, and that's another thing I haven't really spoken about much, is the anxiety, but that's kind of goes without saying. You have the anxious thoughts, or the intrusive thoughts are anxious thoughts, and that's the whole point. So it's I was suffering quite bad with anxiety, and I mean physically I couldn't, if I was dizzy and I was shaking, my hands were sweaty. My hands are sweating now because I'm nervous about this video, and I'm nervous about putting it out there, but I just want everyone to know that I am here, and I do understand, and there's going to be a lot more people than just me as well that will understand, because this is very, very common. OCD and PTSD, intrusive thoughts and anxiety, it's all common. And the medication side of things, if people don't want to speak out about it, then I can advise you what, obviously they're the medications that I'm taking, and if you just seek help if you need to. I think sooner rather than later, that's what I did, and I knew, and my mum knew, and I got to a point where I couldn't fight it anymore on my own. I couldn't do it for myself anymore, and it got to a point where it was heartbreaking for her, because she couldn't even do anything to help me. She couldn't even help me herself. Obviously, she got the ambulance and stuff like that, and if my family were very close, and they could see that I was deteriorating quite quickly. So that's why my mum acted as soon as she did, because she knew that she couldn't do anything to help me anymore. And obviously when she took it out of my hands, and then I was admitted to Longreach, the hospital. But yeah, they still had they were open to keep putting me into hospital for a good few weeks now. Probably the first 4 or 5 weeks, the first 4 weeks, they still were keeping it as an option that I might have had to go into hospital. But no, not any. I've with the medication now, touch wood and fingers crossed. Since I've started taking this medicine, I'll get a lot better, and when I start talking to the right people, hopefully I'll start feeling a lot better and I can talk to them about everything I need to, and it'll be all out of my own head then. It won't all just be jumbled and scrambled and like mixed up and thrown in a big ball of whatever, I don't know, big ball of wool that's just ready to explode. I think now's a good time, and it's great that now is a good time I can just step out of my body. It sounds stupid, but it's like a weight lifted off my shoulders, because now I've got all these people involved. I know that I can give them I physically give them my problem, and then it takes it away from me, so I feel numb. So I give it to them. I physically do this for myself, and I think, right, okay, you can have that now, you can have that problem now, I don't want it. Basically, this video is just designed to get it out there, get my story out there, so some people can maybe either relate to it or can help a family member or a friend that has the same sort of problem. I don't even like to call it a problem. It's not a problem. OCD and PTSD, they're not problems. They're just, we can't help them. We can't choose when they're going to come and go. We can't choose when they're going to pop up in our lives. Like me, I didn't choose to have this to happen to me the last few weeks and to be in a crisis. I didn't choose that. It just happens, and people with OCD have different types of OCD, and OCD with PTSD and intrusive thoughts all three together. So you're preying on your biggest fears, you've got flashbacks of things, and you've got this whole, all of that, your biggest fears, all in one thing, and it just makes everything explode. And my mind is just like completely frazzled, and that's why now probably everything I'm saying isn't even making sense, and it probably just sounds like a load of waffle. But please like this video and subscribe to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. Obviously this might go on Facebook too, so if I upload it to my Facebook, please like it and share it and get it out there so that people can message me or share. In fact, I want to listen to other people's experiences. I want to know what experiences people have had, and if anybody else has had the same sorts of things as me on a personal level, or just anything really, just like it or leave a comment below. Thank you for watching this video. Yeah, thanks.